Boogeyman Ben.
Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a nice week. Today's video is going to be another requested video. This came from a request by YouTuber. Connor Kaiser asked me to do a video talking about my top 10 worst horror films of all time. As many recall, I did a top 10 best horror films of all time, in my opinion, back at the beginning of the year in January. He requested that I do a top 10 worst, and even during the when he initially asked me, I did say it was going to be tough for me to do one. For people that know me and are used to my videos, been watching my channel for a while, they know that most of the time I focus on things that I like. In fact, I always focus on things that I like because I don't really want to talk about things I don't like. I don't want to waste my time. There have been times where I've done movie reviews, or I've talked about, I've done a couple rants where things have pissed me off. But for the most part, I do my rant and I kind of just let it go and I never bring it up again. Or if I have a movie I don't like, I might reference it again, just saying I didn't like it. But I never harp on it or do another video completely, bashing it again, because I feel like it's repetitive. I've done it. I've already said that I don't like it. And I don't begrudge people that do like things that I don't. Typically what I find on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, which I'm not on, but I see, I know people that are on Twitter, and I see blogs and message boards. Everybody focuses on what they don't like. And I think it's just a ridiculous waste of time. Why do you want to talk about something you don't like? I just have never been that type of person. I've always been accused of liking everything, and it's just because I don't focus on things I don't like. I feel like it's just, why waste my energy on that? If you don't like something, that's fine. If you're disappointed in something, that's fine. Pop culture is there to entertain you. If it doesn't entertain you, that's fine. Then it's always been something that the way that I think, and some people don't agree with me, but that's just the way I am. But I was happy to do this for Connor Kaiser. Like, I'm happy to do anything that YouTubers ask or request if I do a video on something in particular that maybe I haven't focused on in the past. And I have never done a movie, or I take that back. I did do a couple years ago, maybe almost a little over 2 years ago, I did do I think the worst remakes, or remakes that I didn't care for. Some of those films might be in this list, but pretty much this is for you, Connor. I hope you enjoy this. This is going to be my worst horror films of all time. I will be talking about films that I've probably only seen once. There are a couple in here I might have seen twice because I decided to give them maybe a second chance and still ended up not really caring for them. But anyway, Connor, this is for you, and I hope everyone else enjoys this, and please stay tuned. So, starting at number 10, I'm going to talk about the Fog remake, which came out in 2005. I know there's people that do kind of like this film. I was excited when they first announced it because John Carpenter was involved as a producer, and I absolutely love the original Fog by him. It's one of my favorite films that he's done, next to The Thing and Halloween. It's just, I think it's his best film. Very creepy atmosphere, excellent casting with Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins, Jamie Lee Curtis, Janet Leigh, Hal Holbrook. Just an amazing cast, very creepy atmosphere. I've always thought that movie is still scary to this day, and I think it just has to do with the way it was shot, the actors, the special effects. Just very, very well done. And being that this new one was going to be shot in 2005, they have better technology for the Fog, and they could do so many more things, and I thought that the initial concept was a little bit interesting, that they were going to kind of delve into the pirates' backstory a little bit and why the pirates were so against the townspeople. I thought that kind of could have been interesting, but again, it was just a wasted opportunity. The actors in it are fine actors, but I just didn't think the film was scary. I didn't think it was compelling. I thought that, the special effects were kind of cool, but at the end, it didn't scare me. And the fact that John Carpenter was involved really disappointed me. And there's nothing against him, but, this is the guy that created the original film. And for him to have his mark on this, and for the film to be so unimpactful, in my opinion, it didn't impact me at all. It just made me sort of go, well, I'm glad I didn't waste my time going to see this in the movie theater. So yeah, I really did not care for the Fog remake. Number 9 on my list is a newer film. This is called VHS. This came out in 2012. And I remember when it came out, there was so many message boards, horror sites, YouTube critics that were saying it was the scariest movie to come out in a long time. So I was like, okay, I don't like found footage horror films. There's a few that I do care for, and I've talked about them in the past, but for the most part, I'm sick of that medium. And I feel like the reason why they do the found footage for horror films is because of films like Blair Witch Project, which got it right, because it was so compelling, and it was so, it impacted me, it scared me, it was so well done, and I feel like everything after that has just been trying to capture that glory, and in some cases, there's been some that have really done it well. For the most part, though, I can count the ones that are good on one hand, and the rest are all shit. And VHS falls into that category. I hated the first VHS so much, I had no desire to even see the second one. The one story in the first VHS that I will give credit to, there was one story at the very beginning where it's a bunch of guys and they go to this club, they pick up this girl, and how the camera, I thought the camera idea was interesting because the guy had the camera in his glasses. I thought that was cool. I thought the girl that was this weird creature, that was creepy. The rest of the stories were completely horrible, very poorly done, as was the wraparound story, which I thought would have been much better if the wraparound story had been a normal narrative film style. If it had been normal film, and then every time they put a VHS tape in, then it would have been the found footage style. I thought that would have been clever, but the fact that the wraparound was found footage, that the tapes themselves were found footage, I just thought it was weak. Did not think it was scary at all. I thought it was the exception of the first story, which I thought was really well done. If they would have been more stories like that, this would not have been on this list. But I didn't feel like the other stories in the movie were very good at all. So yeah, VHS is number 9. Number 8 is Paranormal Activity 2. Again, another reality or found footage style film. Again, this one I absolutely hated, and I actually did like the first Paranormal Activity. I mean, it's not a movie I would probably own. I really don't have any desire to buy it. I could change my mind one day like I did with Halloween 3 and give it another chance and pick it up. The thing I liked about the first Paranormal Activity is that it was a simple story. I liked that it was an independent. I liked that they, were able to get a good word of mouth for it. And I mean, I'm always supporting independent horror. I love when independent horror can get a big studio release, and I love that Paramount released it and it did well. I was mad that it dethroned my Saw series because I love the Saw films. But the first Paranormal Activity was decent. I enjoyed it. Second one was completely fucking boring. I didn't think it was that compelling. I wasn't scared. I thought the last act of it finally picked up steam, and then it was over. There was just so much missed opportunity in it. I really just did not care for it. I know it was more of, instead of just the one camera angle in the bedroom like the first movie, it was like you had security cameras, all over the house. And how many more times can you see something fall or a box move or somebody be dragged down the stairs? I mean, it's just silly after a while. It's just like, okay, we've seen this before. Do something different. And I can't believe that movie made so much money. The third movie in the series I actually thought was better. I liked it. It's probably my favorite out of the ones I've seen. I've only seen 1, 2, and 3. I didn't see 4. I didn't see the new one that came out this year. Just not a film series that I'm really crazy about. And the second one is a complete piece of shit. Sorry. So number 8 is Paranormal Activity 2, and that movie came out in 2010. list. Number 7 is Piranha 3 Double D, which came out in 2012. I did a review of this, and as I've said in the past, I absolutely adore the remake of Piranha that Alexandria Aja did. Loved the cast: Elizabeth Shue, Christopher Lloyd, Ving Rhames. Terrific cast. Jerry O'Connell, I thought he was amazing in the film. So funny. I love the special effects. It reminded me of an 80s film. Lots of gore, lots of nudity, just absolutely fun film, and I was so hoping that Dimension would get smart. Plus, I have to say, Greg Nicotero did the special effects, KMB, amazing special effects, and I thought Dimension would be smart, and they have a new franchise on their hands, but what do? No, they fucked it up. They gave it to John Gulager, who had done the Feast films, which I thought were decent, especially the first one, but the Piranha 3 Double D is just a horrible film. It's a turd of a film. When I initially watched it, I was shocked at how bad it was. But I guess I shouldn't have been, because it was supposed to come out in 2011, and they held on to it until 2012 and stuck it on direct-to-video. Absolutely piss-poor acting. The fact that I can't stand David Hasselhoff, and the fact that he was in it just made me like it even less. The fact that Ving Rhames and Christopher Lloyd came back for the film was awesome. Christopher Lloyd was great in it. He was the one saving grace in the film, but he's only in it for about 5 minutes. Ving Rhames, I love Ving Rhames, but the fact that his character now had, I thought it would have just been better in the first Piranha 3D film that Ving Rhames' character had died. It was just cool the way he went out, if that was the way he was going to go out. The fact that he just lost his legs and he's completely paranoid of the water, and then he has these shotguns for legs. I mean, it's just like I said in my review, it was this grindhouse. This is supposed to be set in reality. I know these are prehistoric piranhas, but shotguns for legs, really? That's where they went? And everything was so over the top. The water park attack was so boring, and all the best scenes were shown in the trailer. Just a really horrible film, and a movie I'd never want to see again, because I know in the original review I said I might give it a second chance. No, I won't. It's a waste of time. I have no desire to ever watch it again. Next on my list, number 6, is The Exorcist 2, which came out in 1977. Now, I've only seen this film once. I thought Linda Blair was hot, and that's probably one of the reasons I saw it, because in this movie she was a teenager when I watched this movie. But I had seen the original Exorcist, and I had seen Exorcist 3. So this was in 1990, and then I rented Exorcist 2. Now, even back in 1990, I heard Exorcist 2 was horrible. And everybody that told me that was absolutely correct. The movie is absolutely horrible. And again, I could be wrong, and maybe I need to give it another chance, but I really don't have any desire to, because I just remember it being pretty bad. And it's just one of those films that I watched, I didn't like it, and I forgot about it. But I do remember not liking it the first time I saw it. Linda Blair is hot in it, but other than that, it's just a really crappy film when you put it against The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3, which I think both films are tremendous. They're just excellent films. But yeah, Exorcist 2 is number 6 on my list. Number 5 on my list is a newer film. This film came out last year. I did a review on it. It was a direct-to-DVD Blu-ray film, and it was Fright Night 2 New Blood, but it is not a sequel to the 2011 remake. Which makes no sense why it's called Fright Night 2. It is more a remake of the original Fright Night, except this one is set in Romania, and all of the characters are over-the-top caricatures. There's nothing about any of the characters in this film that are compelling. The one thing I did like about the remake is that I really liked what every actor brought to their part in that film. I wasn't a huge fan of Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who played McLovin in Superbad. I wasn't a huge fan of him as Evil Ed. I thought he did okay, but the thing I was happy about is that he didn't try to copy Stephen Jeffries' performance. But I did think Anton Yelchin and the amazing David Tennant and Colin Farrell all did a great job in the film. I loved all of them in their roles because they didn't try to do the same performances that William Ragsdale, Chris Sarandon, and Roddy McDowall did in the original. What I hated most about this Fright Night 2 New Blood is that the actor, I don't remember his fucking name, but the actor that played Evil Ed Bates, which was stupid, Evil Ed Bates in the remake is just, and Fright Night 2 is just fucking ridiculously irritating, and I hated him so much because he tried to be like Stephen Jeffries, just even more insane. The thing I always loved about Stephen Jeffries' performance in the original Fright Night is that, yes, he's kind of goofy and over the top a little bit, but you see that it's all an act, that he's really this scared boy, this scared little boy. And I think that there was this humanity to Stephen Jeffries, the performance that Stephen Jeffries gave as Evil Ed that I always loved, and I think that's what I latched on to, and that's what I think a lot of people latched on to. And this guy just played him like an idiot, and the people that played Charlie and Amy were just, I can't even go into words about how bad they are. They were absolutely terrible. Yeah, this is just a really bad film, and I can't believe that they greenlit this instead of just making a decent sequel to the remake. They could have done a lot with that if they would have done it, and might have had a new franchise on their hands. Number 4 on my list is Blair Witch 2, which came out in 2000, right after the original Blair Witch, which came out in 99. This was a sequel in name only. It was more of a sequel based in reality, where the Blair Witch Project movie existed, and people going to the sites where they shot the film, and all. It was just a silly film, and it was a film that I actually fell asleep on. And I tried to watch it again, and I fell asleep on it again. I never saw it in the theater. I rented it on DVD, and I didn't like it then, and I really have had no desire to revisit it. I love the original Blair Witch Project. I said that when Ray and I did our horror collaboration a couple weeks back. I love the Blair Witch Project. I always have. I know some people don't think it's a great horror film, but I think it truly is, because it's not my favorite horror film of all time, but it really got to me, and it's a movie that still scares me to this day. This sequel was just, it just was capitalizing on the name, and I just didn't think it was very well done. And I think they should have just made a direct, like a sequel in story to the original film, dealing with the 3 missing kids. I thought that would have been more interesting than what they ended up going with. Just did not like the second film. Number 3 on my list is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which came out in 1994, even though I didn't see it until, I think they made it in 1994, but if memory serves, they didn't release it until much later, because Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger did not want it to come out prior to their star-making turns in Jerry Maguire and A Time to Kill. I didn't see it, and I believe I didn't see it until like the late 90s. At that time, I wasn't a huge fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I had seen a few of them. The remakes hadn't come out yet, so I wasn't, really into the series. The remakes actually made me interested in the series, and now I just, I've said I really appreciate the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, with the exception of this one. I absolutely hated this film. I can't believe that Kim actually was involved in this film. He wrote and directed it, and it's the weirdest fucking film I've ever seen. Leatherface at one point is fully in drag with a dress, makeup, wig, and all Leatherface does in this film is scream, if my memory serves. And Matthew McConaughey is so ridiculously over the top. And I just remember the people have no personalities. They're like the worst actors, some of the worst actors I've ever seen. And I saw it once, and again, no desire to see it again. So number 3 on my list is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Number 2 on my list is 1987's A Return to Salem's Lot. This was written and directed by Larry Cohn. Larry Cohn, if some people don't know, originally wrote a screenplay or teleplay for the Salem's Lot miniseries, and thank God they didn't go with him. The Return to Salem's Lot is a horrible film. I don't know if everybody's seen this film. Some people might not have heard of it. When I was a kid, you know, I was absolutely obsessed with Salem's Lot, even at this time in my life. This was about 1988 when I saw it, and I remember there was a mom and pop video in the town that I grew up in, and I saw they had like a poster for it, and I wanted to rent it as soon as it came out, and I rented it, and even at 14 years old, I'm watching it going, what a piece of shit. This has nothing to do with the Salem's Lot novel, nor does it have anything to do with the Salem's Lot miniseries, which is my favorite horror film of all time. It's a Salem's Lot in name only. The town is in it. It's completely strange film. And Michael Moriarty and his son, all they do is yell and swear at each other. And it's just really just a strange film. And number one on my list for worst horror films of all time, or in my opinion, what is the worst horror film of all time, that would be Gus Van Sant's remake of Alfred Hitchcock's classic Psycho. In 1998, the horror genre was, you know, going strong with movies like Scream, Scream 2, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty. I mean, those were the films that were really drawing in the crowds. Teenage Market, very similar to like the, you know, teenagers flocking to the slasher films in the 80s. And I think Universal decided to try to cash in on that market by, instead of re-releasing the original Psycho, which was an old black and white movie, and kids, of course, wouldn't want to watch a black and white movie. There's so many things wrong with the remake of Psycho, and it's a film that I hate with a passion, but I did give it a couple chances. I saw it opening night back in 1998 because I wanted to see how bad it could have been. Because, and I've said this in a previous video, that originally the rumors were that it was going to be the same movie that Alfred Hitchcock did up until the shower scene, and then after that it was going to change, and the rest of the story was going to be different. It was complete horse shit. It was the same film, just sleazier. Like the hotel that Sam and Marion are in at the beginning. Of course, Sam is nude and walking around, and you can hear people screwing in the next room. And the whole thing about Norman spying on Marion while she's changing, getting ready for her shower. Now he masturbates while he looks at her. Just cheapening the whole effect, in my opinion. And change the Psycho to this weird-looking house. It has no menace to it whatsoever. Every actor in the film sounds like they're reading their lines like fast and fast and fast. And what I found out, and I think it was one of the cutscenes from the Psycho Legacy documentary that Rob G did, they talk about that Gus Van Sant timed the actors to deliver their lines exactly like the actors did in the original Psycho. So they were just running through them. And if you listen to Julianne Moore doing her lines, she sounds like she's reading off of cue cards. She just, everything's, it's just really fast. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. It just sounds like she's reading a script or reading a cue card. It was just so obvious, and I knew that then. It just sounded wrong. I just was shocked that they actually made this movie, and I never have been happier that a film failed in my life. That's my top 10 list. Like I said, I didn't go into a lot of details about these films. I gave, my opinions about why I didn't like them. That is my opinion. I really do not care to revisit any of these films ever again. They're films that I will not think about after I do this video. I'm just not a fan of them, and I'm not a things that I don't like. I don't like these films. I choose to do videos on things that I do love, that I do have fun sharing my thoughts on. Yes, there's been times that I've done there's been times that I've done videos where I've ranted about something, or I've talked about a movie I didn't particularly care for, but usually it's just done in the context of a review, and after that, I don't talk about it again. If I bring it up, it's just sort of like really quickly. I don't go into details. I just make it known that I didn't care for a particular thing. But for the most part, I try to move on and focus on things that I do want to talk about. And that's just the way I am. Some people might like that, some people might not, but that's who I am, and I'm not going to change. So, Connor, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I was happy doing it for you, buddy. And please share your thoughts in the comments below on what you thought. If you agree with my list, if you don't agree with my list, that's absolutely fine. I like comments no matter what they are, even if they're against what I said. So that's about it. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this. Please share your thoughts as well. Let me know what your least favorite horror films of all time are. Want to say that this will probably be my last video for at least the next 4 days. I got some stuff coming up, my wife's birthday, a couple of other things going on at work that are just taking up my time, and I just am not going to have the time to do the videos in the next few days. But starting next week, I will start doing some videos again, most likely beginning Monday the 17th. I have a few things that I want to do, some videos that I wanted to do a couple weeks back, but just didn't have the time. Most likely they're going to be underrated horror and obscure horror films. I have a couple that I want to talk about in both categories, and I hope everyone looks forward to that. Also going to be doing some new collectibles videos probably within the next week, and I hope everyone looks forward to that. And I just, again, want to thank everyone so much for supporting this channel, for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts with me, and I hope everyone looks forward to the new stuff I got coming up. So want to wish everyone a happy evening, and hope everyone's doing well. Take it easy.